It's actually it's an emergency. There's more than 1 million Ukrainians who have come in since the 24th of February. So over the past 2 weeks, and not even 2 weeks, is just a massive inflow of people. You have 3 actors in Poland who are acting in accommodating them. So it's the governmental level, the NGOs, and the population en gros. When it comes to the government, there was a special bill adopted yesterday in which it grants Ukrainians a one-off help in the amount of almost 100 euros, well, maybe like 80 euros per person, and a legal stay for 18 months, which is, you can lengthen that for the next 18 months, so it's altogether 3 years. They will be able to work and use health services and education services. They will be given the national identification number called PESEL, so they will be granted rights almost on a par with Poles. But that has to do with people with Ukrainian passport, right? Not with non-Ukrainian passports, but you also have Indians, you have people who worked in Ukraine, so the bill does not apply to them. But you have the NGO level, and the NGOs are doing their utmost, you know, with the reception centers, welcome centers, and all the charity that's going on is being organized. So they're doing their utmost, also for non-Ukrainians, so non-white people. And then when it comes to the broader societal level, you know, it's the first time that I see such kind of mobilization, empathy, compassion. People are welcoming Ukrainians in their homes. You know, we have such a radical situation nowadays that if you do not welcome a Ukrainian family in your home, it's as if you're almost immoral. So it is really nice to see that there is this mobilization, though it begs the question how long this can last, given that there might be many more of them coming, and there might be up to 3 million Ukrainians coming in. And also, we already had almost 2 million working here. So really a large chunk of the society are Ukrainians at the moment, but there haven't been problems. Obviously there's some kind of a bottleneck problem at railway stations. You see a lot of people, there's overcrowding in trains. Ukrainians are coming in through 8 land border points. They cannot fly in for obvious reasons. The flights are not working. So there are bottlenecks, but actually the movement is flowing. I mean, the reception centers also organized by local authorities and the government are working. So that's the situation for now. And we hear from the Prime Minister that Poland was offered 500 million euros from the European Union for the expenses that this mass of people entails, but also from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. And so Poland will not be left alone with that. You know, a lot of these people that they don't want, either they want to go back, so they do not apply for asylum, they just want to work here and wait while the situation stabilizes, hopefully at some point. But some of them want to travel west, and a lot of them go to Berlin, or they want to go to the UK, some of them to France, but mostly the UK and Germany. So it's an EU, also given Schengen, right? It's an EU-wide challenge. And I think what it makes, or what it changes in the EU, is that all of a sudden we realize, I mean, something that us as experts on migration, we had realized before, is that we're on the same table with this. It's not only migration from the south, it's also migration from the east, and no country is immune. I mean, no country can sort of opt out of migration as a phenomenon. So I think also for the countries that had not been so convinced about the need to reform the migration and asylum system in the EU, like Poland or Hungary, it all of a sudden is obvious that we're in it together. And we need to think about the future, because migration will be coming in for whatever reasons: wars, climate change, demographic differences. There will be more and more migration. So I think that the sort of psychological and political pressure will be there on all of the governments in the EU now to really reform and think strategically about the future. I mean, you have a reality here on the ground, and these are not only white Ukrainians, but also non-white, non-Ukrainians that are coming in, and they are there around. So on the societal level, people will hopefully get a bit more used to the reality that, you know, there are different people and they're just like us, even if they look differently. Of course, you have a lot of nationalistic feelings within certain circles, and there was an incident in Przemyśl, so that's a town in the southeast of Poland, where a couple of Black people were chased and beaten, I think, by some kind of nationalist far-right groups. But this was one incident, and actually local authorities, the civil society, the government as well, denounced that. And so that's when it comes to the non-Ukrainian, non-white population. Now, if you're asking about the political stance, whether the Polish government may change its position on the solidarity mechanisms, I think it's very likely, because now with this whole with the number of Ukrainians, with the number of refugees that we have on our soil, it's obvious that if anyone owes us solidarity, it's someone else, right? Because we have this big burden, so to speak, or a challenge. I don't want to call it a burden. It's helping people. It's actually managing an emergency situation, and there's war raging. A whole security environment in Europe is changing with the different position of the EU when it comes to military spending and help, and changing policies in Germany. Germany just overnight changed its security policy. So I think the Polish government and other governments, because Ukrainian refugees are also coming into Hungary, Moldova, Slovakia, Romania, they will be changing the position as well, because they are the ones who need solidarity now. They are not the ones who are being asked to show solidarity. We're a host society all of a sudden, not an immigrant society, not only so you're an origin country, a transit, not only a transit country and an origin country, but also a host country, and hosting really large group of people. So it's very likely that the governments that had been averse to the solidarity mechanism will now be for it.